Most homeowners think their drainage problems start when they see water pooling in the yard. But by the time that happens, the damage might already be costing you thousands of dollars. Some of the most expensive drainage mistakes actually look like they're helping. So today I'm breaking down the 7 biggest drainage mistakes that I see homeowners make and how we can avoid them. Rotting walls and foundations, standing water and mosquitoes and all kinds of problems created by poor drainage. The number 1 mistake I see in drainage is when the slope goes towards the house instead of away from the house. The drainage works best if it can flow away from the area where you don't want water to collect via gravity. A common slope is 1 to 2% away from the house. That's 1/8 to 1/4 inch for every foot, which is a very little amount, but sometimes hard to get. You look at this little park we're on here, everything is sloping towards the street. Now, there are some instances where that's not possible, and we talk about in this video ways of overcoming that. But for the most part, as we're planning projects, that's our goal, positive drainage. But even if your grading is perfect, you could still be dumping lots of unwanted water right next to your foundation every year if you are making this next mistake. Downspouts can be a real problem because the water exits right next to your foundation. I think you shouldn't let any downspouts just dump water right next to your house. It usually causes erosion and a mess and doesn't drain to where you really want the water, which is out away from your house. So the only choice is to collect all the downspouts with some type of drainage system. In this case, we used a copper downspout, and then we connected to the copper pipe with a 3-inch drain line, solid, white, plastic, and it goes out and dumps the water at the street. If you've spent 5 minutes on YouTube looking up drainage problems, somebody has probably told you to install a French drain. The problem, a lot of French drains fail because they're installed incorrectly or never needed in the first place.
This actually is part of the original French drain system. Oh, and look at here. We actually have some croissants. So I guess this really truly was a French drain, but we are going to change it. Would you like a croissant?
I'm here with Aaron Lometti and Valentino Lometti, also known as Tino Lometti, of Design a Dream Landscape, and they are in the middle of resolving some drainage problems.
On this particular home, there was a French drain installed around the perimeter of the property, and that caused significant damage every year when it would rain. Water would seep into the foundation. You can see all the damage to the paint, and this is a recessed living room. It's actually below ground level. So water seasonally would infiltrate into the living room. We had to pull back the carpets. Along here, the stucco absorbed the moisture that was piling up against the wall.
It's interesting to hear why you think the French drain was used, what the strategy was.
I think the strategy was it would absorb water coming off of the eave, and that water would somehow percolate into the perforated pipe, and then that perforated pipe would carry that water to the street. What ended up happening is this yard formerly had redwood trees, and they had a case of root intrusion, so they had a backup between the street and the home. And so as water was coming from the backyard, traveling down this pipe, it backed up, and instead of it being absorbed into the perforated pipe, those perforations allowed it to exit at the base of the home.
You know, a French drain is really a gravel trench with a perforated pipe in it. Whenever drainage comes up, they talk about a French drain as if it's the resolution to every drainage problem there is. A French drain really is only necessary when there is water in the soil, and water in the soil that you can't get out.
I can tell you that with my Italian descent that I used to install Italian drains, not French drains.
Yeah.
And the difference between a French drain and an Italian drain is the French drain will quietly move water to the street. But an Italian drain, if there's a backup, the whole neighborhood will know.
I see. And do your Italian drains work?
No, we had to switch, and we're now using a closed system. So we use a closed system drain where we're using solid pipe instead of perforated pipe. And we try to navigate the water from the downspouts, the rain gutter downspouts, directly into the pipe and carry that water from those inlets to the street.
So if you do everything properly in terms of moving water off of the site, you won't need a French drain. There are situations where you will need a French drain, particularly at the base of a retaining wall, and some other things that come up, but a French drain addresses underground water. Just a quick interruption here. If you have ever installed a French drain because a guy on YouTube said it would solve everything, click subscribe to our channel. It's free. This next mistake looks neat and clean and professionally landscaped, but can actually cause rot, termites, and moisture problems. So it's a pretty common problem and sometimes hard to avoid because there's a fine line there between where the circulation is and where the planting areas start in terms of grade. Most jurisdictions require the soil to be about 6 inches below the floors in the house. And sometimes when you do rough grading, the soil is, and then you add 2 to 3 inches of mulch and then you're not below. You need to make a concerted effort to make sure mulch, soil, whatever you have in planting areas that goes up against the house is below the floor level and you're not mounding it up on the walls of the house, which causes all types of problems. Another option that we've talked about is not to do foundation planting. So you're keeping the soil level low and you're just using rock or something that doesn't require irrigation. You still want positive drainage. We're still going to have water with rain. We still going to need to collect water and get it out of there, but it does solve a problem of moisture from irrigation. Here's a mistake that can cost thousands of dollars to fix, and most homeowners don't discover it till after the project is finished. So for the most part, you want patios and hardscapes not draining towards your house. There are some exceptions. When you build a swimming pool, you set the swimming pool up because you don't want water going into the swimming pool. And then the decks all slope away from the pool, and usually they go towards the house. And it's still the proper way to do it, but in that case, you have to create some type of system, either with a drainage system or a swale, that we not only have that paving draining towards the house, but then if you go up against the house, you've got paving or some material draining away from the house. So a relatively new concept and popular concept in landscape architectural fields is to try to have water drain actually on site through the soil profile into the water table using materials that are pervious. This is graded with a little low spot in the middle, and so they're trying to get some of the water to drain right on the site, right into the water table. And everywhere you see these cobble, in between the cobble is the pervious material. In this case, it's called perk grout. You take a lot of pressure off of municipal drainage systems, and that water that drains through the soil is pretty pure because of everything that it has to go through to get to the water table. We did a video sometime back. They were trying to dog-proof their yard, and they did a flagstone patio. And in between the flagstone, we used perk grout. In essence, it's a pervious paving. The flagstone rock isn't pervious, but all the joints are pervious, and yet it's firm and stable. So you could pick almost any material and then use perk grout in between it. Before water ever reaches your yard, there's an entire drainage system on your roof that many homeowners ignore. And if that system fails, everything else that we are talking about here today becomes harder to fix. So the main problem with roof drainage systems is the gutters aren't kept clean. They'll overload with debris. And when they overload with debris, they'll spill out water where it's not supposed to go. So you might have a whole system directing water to go certain places, but instead water is going where you didn't expect it.
We're doing a direct connection, and this is still a serviceable connection because we've installed these cleanouts, or our landscaper's interpretation of a cleanout. Leaves, and debris can get trapped in this, and it becomes difficult to service this. So we put this little Y in here, and then we could, possibly snake out any debris that might be lodged into the pipe. Even a simple garden hose you know, putting pressurized water into the hole will help. This is what we call a serviceable catch basin because it has a little area in here that can catch silt and dirt, and you can remove the cover and pull the objects out that might impede drainage.
In addition to clogged gutters, not keeping the roof itself clean can be a problem. You can end up with different patterns of drainage than you're expecting when you design your systems. The last mistake on our list isn't about a drain, gutter, or downspout. It's about planning. Too many homeowners spend years chasing symptoms and adding drains without ever solving the root problem. The best drainage systems prevent problems before they happen. So it is easy to keep putting drains in wherever you see water collecting. Most of the time, what I see is there isn't a good place to take the water. And that's the whole key to a good drainage system. Sometimes pipes are plugged, the water doesn't go where you think it's gonna go. There's no room, or there's actually a flood where you have your water going. So it's important to think of what places that are absolutely guaranteed to accept the water and to allow that water to flow. In this site, a good example is we have 3 places where the curb is cored. We cored that hole, and then our pipe comes right up to the edge, and water goes into those drain inlets and then comes right out into the gutter. You can see the gutter is sloped, so we get that water off the site. That's an excellent way at your own house. If you have curb and gutter, then you can dump the water in the gutter, and whether it's in the back or the front, you can put in solid, good drainage pipe. We use a solid white PVC drainage pipe that won't allow roots to get in, and we make sure it's sloped so that it has fall and it goes in a positive way and connects to those cores in the curb. Then, if you see a problem area, you can add an inlet and connect it to your system that's existing, because you know that system is draining into the gutter. Now, people that don't have curbs and gutters, you have to figure out a way to stop the drainage pipe and allow the water to go into the area that drains alongside the road. If you have found out that you are making one of these drainage mistakes, there's a good chance you're making some landscape mistakes too. In the video on your screen, Chip and I break down the common landscaping tips homeowners follow every day that can actually damage soil, slowly kill your plants, and cost you thousands of dollars over the years. Click that video now, and let's make sure your landscape isn't quietly working against you. Thank you very much to Aaron, Yuli, and Tino of Design a Dream Professional Landscaping. We appreciate your help. Your humor was so good, we're going to include you in some other videos.
Oh, that sounds great.